This time of year is so special. The air turns crisp, carrying that earthy scent of fallen leaves, and the world transforms into warm shades of orange, red, and gold. It makes me feel nostalgic, craving all things cozy and warm. Every year I look forward to fall, but it always seems to come and go too quickly. Life just moves so fast, and I often find myself wishing I had more time to do the things that make this season so special. So this year I decided to take a step back, to slow down, be present, and savor everything I love about fall. Welcome to my cozy fall bucket list. I hope you'll join me as I soak up the magic of this beautiful season. One of my favorite things about fall is how everything seems to come in pumpkin form or flavor. So naturally, I wanted to make pumpkin pancakes to start the day. But just as I was getting everything ready, I realized I was out of baking powder and baking soda. Luckily, I had a box mix on hand, so I wouldn't miss out on fresh pancakes. Even without the pumpkin, these pancakes still brought that warm, comforting start to a day full of fall activities. One of the reasons I decided to commit to a week of fall activities this year is because I wanted to decorate. My house has been pretty bare since moving in, and I just haven't had the time or budget to add a lot to the living and dining rooms, especially seasonal decor. But I made it a goal this week to bring that warm, cozy feeling of autumn into my home. Later, I'll be doing some budget-friendly crafts and DIYs, including updating this wreath, but for now, I'm heading to a local antique shop. I'm hoping to find a few unique pieces that could add character and seasonal charm without breaking the bank. I love shopping small and secondhand. Not only does it make each find feel more special, but it's a small way to avoid excess consumerism and give items a second life, especially this time of year. There's something so meaningful about adding vintage or DIY'd items to a home, as if each piece has its own story to share. As soon as I stepped into this antique shop, I was welcomed by a collection of beautiful paintings hanging on the walls. As an artist, I took this as a sign that I was going to love this place, and I wasn't wrong. The shop was enormous, and I quickly lost track of time as I turned corner after corner, discovering more aisles and booths filled with unique treasures.
You have to be a forager if you want to do antique shopping or thrifting or anything, which I am, but my husband is not, so he's being forced to do this with me today.
Look at that ruby mouth, so small.
While I found many things that made me smile, there was always a reason or a justification for me not to buy it at this time. Like these little glasses are just a little bit too small for everyday use, even though I thought they were adorable and really fit my vibe. And many of the pumpkins I found are just ones that you have to set on a table, and I don't really have a place to put those. I need more wall decor.
So Andrew went to the bathroom quite a while ago, and I'm kind of getting afraid that he can't find me, because this place is huge. But I am having the time of my life. I am very happy right now.
Just got done foraging at the antique store. Didn't really find anything, mostly because I was looking for more like fall stuff and they didn't have a lot of that, but also because my budget is tiny. More like thrift store, not antique store. But that place ended up being huge. I don't even know if I managed to cover the whole place. I think maybe 80%, and it took us an hour and we went through it pretty fast too. Now we're in line for a fall festival and it seems pretty huge, and I'm not sure how I haven't heard of this before because it has the normal stuff like pumpkins and corn mazes and all of that, but also they have food trucks, art vendors, hot air balloons, and helicopters. So definitely excited to check that out. What do you think?
Excited to get some food.
Arriving at the fall festival was a bit overwhelming, but in the best way. Everywhere we looked, something was happening. Music filled the air with lively bluegrass and folk tunes, including, of course, a rendition of Rocky Top, since we're in Tennessee. Kids ran around laughing, diving into the corn pit, shooting hoops, taking turns on the slide, and challenging each other in tic-tac-toe. But there was still plenty for us adults to enjoy, starting with the food trucks. Tacos in hand, we watched the crew preparing the hot air balloon for the rides, and you could feel the excitement in the air. After we ate, we wandered through the festival grounds, taking in the fun decorations and stopping to browse a few vendor booths. Then we stumbled upon a coffee cart. We couldn't say no to a pumpkin spice latte. Finally, we hopped on a hayride that took us to the pumpkin patch, where we eagerly ran around looking for the perfect pumpkins. When we returned, it was dark and we sadly had to skip the corn maze, but we had plenty of time to choose a few more pumpkins for decorating and carving. It was such a joyful day filled with some of the magic that you only experience in autumn. The festival truly captured the spirit of the season, and I felt so grateful for the memories we created there. But I wasn't ready for the night to be over. So after leaving the festival, I hopped into some cozy clothes and then got to work to making a spooky themed pizza. I've seen people online creating the coziest autumn scenes, perfectly decorated homes, warm baking from scratch, and everything just looking effortlessly inviting. I love all of that as much as anyone, but I wanted to remind myself and you that it's okay if things aren't picture perfect. Take this pizza for example. I'd hoped to make it from scratch, but this year I just don't have the time. So I'm working with a few store-bought ingredients, and that's okay. I also wanted to top it with ghost-shaped mozzarella slices, but I put them on before baking, so by the time it came out, my ghost had melted into blobs. The end result wasn't exactly what I imagined, but I still had fun making it, and it tasted just as cozy as I had hoped. So if you're feeling the pressure to make everything perfectly cozy this season, know that the best moments often come from just enjoying the experience, whether or not it's picture perfect in the end. It's the small joys, laughter with the people you love, and the comfort of slowing down together that make this season truly special. Harry Potter? Okay, so one thing about me is I really don't like holding stuff while I'm walking, so I took this grocery bag and tied it to my shirt here, and I have a nice little bag for collecting my leaves. So this is the not so secret hidden gem, as people call it. This is the Narrows of the Harpeth. It's right outside of Nashville, and it's actually a really great place to hike. Didn't we have like one of our first dates was hiking here?
Yes, the first thing that we ever did together, actually.
Besides coffee and a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that really good? I do not remember this being such a joy right here when I was here before. Look at that leaf falling. Maybe I should go pick it up. So, to make my leaf garland, the trick is to have kind of soft leaves, like this one, as opposed to crunchy leaves, because those ones won't do well. So, looking for soft leaves here. See, doesn't this give you like Hobbit vibes or something? To bring more of that autumn warmth indoors, it was time to decorate and to do some crafts. I strung some leaf-like garlands around the living room and hung my jack-o'-lantern garland I made in my last video under my TV. And of course, I lit some candles, real and fake. Even these small little touches made the space feel instantly more festive. Now for my first craft, I sliced a few oranges, dabbed them dry with paper towels, and laid them out on a baking sheet. Then I placed them in a 200-degree oven to slowly dry for about 4 hours, flipping them halfway. And while those baked, I pulled out some air-dry clay to experiment with for the first time. I started with making pumpkin-shaped candle holders, then tried making a leaf-shaped trinket dish.
I got this idea from a Skillshare class I watched recently where the instructor, Ella, walks you completely through the process from start to finish. So of course I'm thrilled to share that Skillshare is the sponsor of this video. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with thousands of classes led by industry experts across film, illustration, design, freelance, productivity, and more. I've recently become interested in trying out clay, as you see here, but as I'm sure you know, it can be a little scary to jump into a new skill on your own. That's why I'm so glad to be a member of Skillshare, where I have so many beginner-friendly classes to learn the basics and get started with confidence. But as I mentioned, Skillshare has a wide range of class options. So as an artist, I have my eye on quite a few of the creativity and inspiration classes, and as a small business owner, I can't pass up taking a few marketing and business classes. So if you're also looking to pick up a new skill, whether it's a creative hobby like clay or something that supports your career goals, check out Skillshare today. The first 500 people to use my link in the description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. On to my next craft. I decided to do some reusing of brown paper bags and make a few pumpkins out of them. I started by using a lid to trace circles on the paper bags and then cut them out. Since I want to hang mine on the wall, I'm making half pumpkins, which requires about 15 circles per pumpkin. If you want to create pumpkins to sit on a table, I recommend cutting 25 to 30 circles, and you'll trim the bottoms of them once they're glued together so that they can stand flat. Once your circles are cut, glue them together in halves just along the middle like this. Then you'll glue all the halves together at the top and bottom only. To create the stem, I twisted some of the paper bag scraps and glued them to the top. They turned out cute, even if they only somewhat resemble pumpkins. To hang them up, I simply just used push pins on either side. The last thing I did for the day was prep my leaves for garlands. There are a few ways to preserve leaves, and the first method I tried was dipping them in wax. I melted down some old candles, but wasn't thrilled with the results since the wax left a white cast. So I also tried brushing some transparent Mod Podge on the leaves, which I think turned out better.
So it is the final day to check off all the things on my fall bucket list. A lot of people have already started moving on to Christmas, but I'm not ready. I still have about a month until Thanksgiving, so I'm gonna try and get as much fall as I can out of it.
Starting with gnomes made out of cinnamon-scented brooms. I had picked up some fabric from Michael's but didn't check the size before buying, so it turned out to be a bit too short to cover the broom completely. But I figured I'd make it work anyway. I trimmed the excess fabric and then, for some reason, I used super glue to seal the edges together into a little hat. I wouldn't recommend super glue, especially if, like me, you end up getting it all over your fingers. Something like hot glue might work better if you also don't want to sew. Then I used the remaining fabric to finish covering the top of the broom. I wasn't happy with this one, so I decided to saw this one to make it shorter, and now I think it will look better as a gnome. But this one, I think I'm just going to take this part off entirely and use it as a normal broom. For the nose, I painted a shell I found on my hike and glued it on. And for the other broom, I stuffed some fake flowers from my old wreath into it and hung it on the wall. Speaking of that old wreath, my next project was to give it a makeover. I removed the old fake flowers and tossed out the ones that were beyond saving. Then I glued some moss inside the base of the wreath, though of course I managed to burn myself with the hot glue. Once that was done, I added the fake flowers that were still in good shape onto it. I also plan to attach the clay mushrooms I made earlier, but I'll show that later once I've painted them. So next up, I created a simple wall hanging out of a stick from my backyard, the dried orange slices, and the preserved leaves from earlier.
The trees, they are singing to the tune of a song, and the wind is gently ringing the bell that brings the morning.
I think it turned out cute, although it's admittedly a bit rough. After that, I strung the remaining leaves and orange slices together with a needle and string, making a couple garlands to drape across my walls. With all of these DIY projects and decor hung up and scattered throughout the space, my house finally felt warm and cozy. These little touches really brought the season to life and filled my home with the comfort and magic of fall. Now that the house was filled with fall warmth and charm, I was ready to wrap up the day with one of my favorite seasonal traditions, carving pumpkins. With the cozy atmosphere all around me, it felt like the perfect time to slow down and immerse myself in this simple autumn activity. Carving pumpkins is one of those activities that brings everything together. It's a chance to relax, get creative, and make memories, all while savoring the season's spirit. Once the pumpkins were carved and the day came to a close, I was feeling so grateful for the chance to slow down and savor the little moments that make this season so special. And even though it's November, I encourage you to still go out and create your own cozy autumn memories if you haven't yet. I hope you found a little inspiration for your own fall bucket list and crafts here. Thanks for spending the week with me, and I can't wait to share more with you soon. Until next time, thanks for watching.